These are Apple's AirPods 4, and these far exceeded my expectations because they're able to pull off pretty good active noise cancellation without any kind of rubber seal or anything. These are just hard plastic ear tips that fit very comfortably, and they're just not what you would expect a typical ANC equipped earbud to be like. Now, I'm gonna do a kind of quick review of them as well as compare them to the readily available AirPods or Apple AirPods on the market. So we have the AirPods 2, the AirPods 3, this is the new AirPods 4, and I'm also gonna compare to the best version of Apple's AirPods, the AirPods Pro 2. So the AirPods 4, there's three kind of features that I think are noteworthy right now. So first is that there is an ANC option now. You have the option to buy a AirPod 4 with active noise cancellation. Second, there's the presence of the H2 chip this time. So this helps with that ANC, but also helps with audio and gives special kind of Apple features. But the third, and arguably the most important feature, is that they have a new shape to the AirPods 4 that I think massively changes the way that this product is. Let's start off with a conversation around how these fit. So this was the fit of AirPods 1 and 2. It's kind of like the OG Q-tip style, longer stem. And this fit well because like the tip wasn't very large, but the sound quality wasn't great. But then AirPods 3 came out and this was a very different fit. This had a more bulbous shape and it kind of sticks out of your ear more and you can feel it. The moment I put AirPods 3 on a few years back, I remember thinking this feels worse. Like the comfort of this is noticeably worse than AirPods 1 and 2. And I think if you look online, a lot of people felt the same way. Obviously fit and feel is subjective, but AirPods 4, because they've changed the shape of this just enough, it's mostly like the tip and the bulbous area. This fits entirely differently. It's so much more comfortable the moment you put this in, but this feels more like AirPods 1 and 2 in terms of just like how easily it inserts into your ear and also how kind of nicely it just stays there, but it still has all the improved audio characteristics of a larger and more bulbous ear tip. Now, I did think it was interesting that during Apple's keynote for AirPods 4, they were talking about, they did all this laser and 3D imaging to be able to get this new design, and they had to like scan thousands of ear shapes. And at the time of the presentation, I was like, how hard could it possibly be? But having tried this, I realized there's a very big and noticeable difference. And just for clarity's sake, everything we've seen so far in terms of the tips are the regular AirPods. The Pro, what has separated them in the past, and even now, is the presence of a rubber seal. It's like a silicone rubber that prevents sound from coming in as like a passive seal, and also it prevents sound that's produced by the bud from leaking out, and it just helps with the audio characteristics that you get. And this is why you get the best possible sound with their Pro product, the rubber seal. But it is uncomfortable for some people to use it because it has to go deeper into your ear canal. Now, quick note about the charging case. This is a smaller case than the previous generation, and it also has USB-C charging, but there's a few things that are interesting. So first, the light. So if you look kind of like this is AirPods 3, there's a visible light indicator, but this, it's invisible until you actually turn the light on. Like when the light is off, you actually can't even see the indicator at all. Also, if you'll notice, the button that was on the back of the previous cases, it's a buttonless case now. And there's like a touch sensitive area underneath that button that serves as kind of input if you need to connect it manually or reset it. But there's also, it's a wireless charging capable case. But one thing I noticed is that this does not have magnets or like MagSafe capabilities. You can still charge it wirelessly, but the old one, you could kind of connect it up, and if you had magnets, it would hold itself up. Like if you had a magnetic MagSafe charger. Same with AirPods Pro 2. It can charge magnetically attached, but the new one, it'll charge, but no magnets. There's also a speaker on the case this year, and this allows you to play a chime to find it if you've lost it. All right, let's talk about sound, but do keep in mind that this stuff is very subjective and also very dependent on the shape of your ear canal and how these things fit and whatnot. But I would say that AirPods 4 sound very good, especially for a device that doesn't have the kind of rubber or silicone ear tips that go right into your ear canal. And so just a comparison. AirPods 3, I would say that these have like good mids. The treble was quite good, but the bass on AirPods 3 was just mediocre, and in some cases just not present, depending on the track you're listening to. But AirPods 4, the biggest difference that I noticed was in that bass. Now, I'm not sure if it's because there's new drivers or the fit is better, but immediately, just cross comparison, the bass is way more present on AirPods 4. Now, I don't have great tools to measure their frequency response. I'm just using a calibrated U mic in RU, so I don't know if I'd even classify these as measurements. But this is how AirPods 4 stacks up against some of the current Apple AirPod products. So it's a noticeable step up from AirPods 3, but obviously not as good as the AirPods Pro 2, especially in those lower frequencies. But do keep in mind that the way that those plots look doesn't always correlate perfectly to how we perceive the sound, especially on earbuds that don't have the rubber seals. Okay, let's talk about ANC, the active noise cancellation, because that is, I would say, the most impressive thing about these new buds. So during the presentation or the keynote when they announced it, I was like, how good could it possibly be? Because most of the noise cancellation or the active noise cancellation devices that I've used, the good ones, have a rubber seal. It serves two purposes. One, you're blocking out the sound that's from the outside, right? It makes it easier to cancel out any kind of environmental noise that you don't want. But also, when you have a rubber seal, you're able to produce more like stronger sounding bass. You're able to produce stronger sounding lower frequencies, which is very important when it comes to actively canceling out sounds, right? The buds need to be able to produce a sound that's loud enough and in the appropriate frequency to cancel out whatever sound it is that you're trying to kill. And AirPods 4 is so impressive. I think a lot of it comes from the fact that it's just better audio capabilities than the previous generation, but I think another part of it is the actual contour and shape of the tip. I think it's doing a really good job of just like blocking out to the best of its ability the external sound, despite not having any rubber seals. So when you put them in, I was very impressed. And it's very difficult to convey this in a video, so this is a rough approximation of what you'd hear. I think lower frequency background noises like engines and being on a plane or just motors rumbling, fridges in the background, that stuff gets muted very nicely on AirPods 4. But the higher frequency stuff, like let's say there's like a bunch of kids and they're squawking and squealing, they're having fun, that is muted better on the AirPods Pro 2. And I think it's because of that passive seal. It just does a way better job at killing that kind of sound. So I'm impressed. And I think that if you're looking at this type of product and you've always wanted an earbud that didn't use a rubber seal because you just didn't like the kind of discomfort of those rubber seals, or if you just prefer the hard plastic tip, you'll be pleasantly surprised with this. Okay, the other thing, microphone quality. Now, just a quick test between all four of them. This is the mic on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, I'm talking over ambient noise. It's supposed to be like a busy coffee shop, and this is what the mic on the phone itself sounds like. This is audio being recorded on the mic of AirPods 2. Now, these are an older pair of earbuds. They're from 2019, so like 5.5 years old at this point. They still work great, just the battery life is short. This is a mic from AirPods 3, the predecessor, and this device still used the H1 chip on the inside, but this is what this sounds like. This is a recording from AirPods 4, the newest one, and it does have that newer H2 chip in it. I imagine it must have better ability to block out the environmental sound, but we'll see. And lastly, we have the mics on AirPods Pro too. So these also use the H2 chip, but because it's a more expensive device, and these are like $70 more than AirPods 4, I imagine they have like other things like better mics. So this is what these sound like. The new AirPods 4 have force touch controls, kind of like the AirPods Pro 2, but they don't have volume controls on these. I don't know why. Last thing, pricing. So all of the pricing of this is like, I don't know, $40, maybe $60 more expensive than competing products. And half of it is because of the Apple brand name. But the other portion is like, it's just the connectivity. This is able to connect with other Apple devices and switch between Apple devices and even switch between the different AirPods if that's what you're doing very seamlessly. And it's strange how good it is compared to every other product on the market. But if you live in that Apple ecosystem, It's good for that. But in terms of just pricing, the truth is there's a ton of competitor products to this, just in terms of like audio quality and ANC capability, that is better than Apple's products. In terms of like the overall package though, the convenience and all that stuff, these are really good. You just have to pay a little bit more for them. Okay, there you have it. I do think that it's from the perspective of my personal thing. I've always liked the fit of AirPods 2. That's why I still keep mine. I think these fit my ear the best. They don't have the best sound quality, but AirPods 4, I would say, has like the sound quality of not quite the Pro 2 version, but it's better than AirPods 3. It's like right in between in terms of sound quality, but it has way better fit. And I think like if you're using these things for an extended period of time, fit can make, it can be very important. So yeah, much better fitting, and for some people, much better sounding than their previous products. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video.